What's up, everybody? Shawn here with another Live to Roll. We got an awesome show for you guys today. A little bit of a hangout, talk some sports, disability sports. We have an awesome guest here today with us, our buddy John. So let's get into some intros. We'll let him introduce himself. And yeah, my name's Shawn. I'm a C5, C6 quadriplegic from a snowboarding accident 20 years ago now. Tom, take it away and then introduce our
What's up,
boy.
everybody? I'm Tom Conaway, C6B quadriplegic for the last 26 years. Played it. Um, and yeah, that's me. Y'all have heard enough about me plenty of times. Let's take a moment to introduce a friend of the show. Y'all maybe have seen him before if you're a regular. But let's shout out Mr. Jonathan Briones, aka What Mr. Wheels Thinks. He's an awesome guy, an inspiring individual, one of the most beautiful personalities I know, one of the smartest, most like kind-hearted, cool ass people I know. A coach in life, a coach in sports, a coach in many, many, many things. But Jonathan, take it away. Can you introduce yourself?
Wow.
That was
That was that. Wow. I mean, huh? That was man. That was touching right there. Thank you. I
From
like
the
that.
heart,
You
from the
got me
heart,
all
Mr.
hyped
Wilson.
up.
I love you,
Well,
man. I love
I mean, like you said, I'm Jonathan Briones, what Mr. Will thinks, also known as Coach Briones, Coach JB. I did coach
you.
throughout my time going through college and high school and in junior college. Did try to help out at Kansas University, but was very competitive there. But
you.
Yeah, very, very competitive to get on the team. But I came back here to California, and now I still coach at Victor Valley College up here now, and I'm the
Oh,
coach for the men's team. I love it. So
do you mind if I ask what your disability is? I know,
my
but I'd love
my
for you
fault.
to tell
Yeah,
the people.
yes, I forgot. See, my disability is known as arthrogryposis. It's when your
Okay.
muscles and muscles and or joints aren't fully developed at birth. I was wrapped in my mom's umbilical cord, just wrapped up. But yeah, that's what happened, and born with
So,
dislocated
John,
hips. That's why I got to use a
you've been
wheelchair
you've been disabled your whole life, your whole life.
my whole
Uh,
life from birth.
so you even got a couple years on me, bro, of
Man,
this lived experience living with disability. But we do have this shared experience of growing up with our disability, which I think is a really interesting, unique experience to go through for an individual and topic I kind of love talking about. So we might touch on some more of that later. But we're talking March Madness today. We're talking sports. We're talking coaching, and I'm really curious about how you got into that. I mean, I said it in the your little intro, and it is very, very true. You have like one of the loudest, most beautiful personalities I've encountered of an individual. You just are very present. It's everyone knows John's in the room because you're always making everybody laugh, you're making everybody smile, and you're just making yourself known. So, have you always been like that? What helped you become that way? And can you talk to us maybe a little bit about, learning how to be outgoing like that?
honestly, I wasn't always like this. It was being a coach. When I became a coach, I had to learn you have to be loud, extra loud sometimes because you're in a gym where when people talk, even just at the normal voice, it can echo. So you have probably over 20, 30 people yelling, and you need to get your voice across. So you need to be really loud and clear. And so becoming a coach has actually made me the way I am today, being loud and energetic. I never was usually that. I was usually kind of just like in my shell, just staying quiet and stuff. But I think I am glad that I am energetic and loud of being. Thank you. You said I'm a great coach. If you give me 1 second, I think I just proved that I'm a better coach than I am streaming because I actually have my stream on the wrong one. I still have it on the test run uh,
Oh no,
thing, and
that's
I got to
okay.
switch it to the collab stream. So I'm here with y'all. But yes,
And let's just shout that out real
I'm
quick.
learning.
Uh,
I'm
the
learning.
first, the way that we first got connected with Jonathan was at the Abilities Expo in LA, not this year, but last year.
Yeah.
And Jonathan has his own YouTube channel where he makes content, where he talks about Lots of different topics, relevant topics, mostly surrounding sports and stuff, but also stuff surrounding living life with disability as well. Some cool videos showing them barbecue and doing some cool adaptive activities. So it's something that we definitely want to shout out and encourage all of you guys to go and check out, which is What Mr. Wheels Thinks is the name of the YouTube channel. I think if you put a comment in the YouTube our chat, we people
Yeah,
can
it'll
maybe
pop
just
up and
click
people
on
can
your
click
name.
on it.
People
Uh,
can click on your name and go to the channel that way. Also,
I will
we
put it
might
in
be
the description.
yeah,
Um,
Shawn will
I'll,
share it as well.
I put your Instagram in there, but I actually forgot to do the YouTube, and that's my fault this morning.
You're fine. Don't worry
Sorry,
about it.
bro,
So
but I got you. I'll put it in there. But yeah, drop a quick comment in the chat. That way, anybody watching right now can click on it if they want to check out.
I
Uh,
think I did it correctly now because now in the thing it does say the right title. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, all right.
I'm
Well,
still new.
if anybody wants to go check out Mr. Wills is streaming on YouTube for whoever's
It's
first
not
time
working. I'm
in this
sorry.
format, which is cool. And generally, you do a lot of gaming as well, right? I know you're
Yes,
streaming every day on Twitch,
that's why
which
it's
let's get your
easier.
Twitch username because
It
I
was set
always
to
get it wrong.
Twitch. Yeah, everything was set to Twitch. So today I wanted to do something different
so I'll
and
have
go
you
real
also send me
flat.
your Twitch link too, and I'll drop
Mm,
that in the description as well. So if people
yeah.
do watch a lot of gaming on Twitch, that's great. They can check you out over there. And yeah,
And what
What Mr. Wills thinks the episodes are really cool. They're really fun to watch, and not just like all disability talk. Like you're just talking regular life type of stuff. It's fun. It's cool stuff. So check it out.
pop culture, current events, sports
Yeah,
info, you name it, he's
everything,
got
the
it. It's
entertainment,
entertaining.
whatever.
You talk
It's
about what
entertaining and fun.
Tom's sports
It's
knowledge is with Taylor Swift and Travis
Man,
Travis
Kelsey.
Kelce, yeah, dude.
right? That's what started it all.
You get all
I
that stuff.
only I only know the pop culture stuff. And shout out Leon real quick. Leon's been a quadriplegic for 32 years. Peace to you, my dude. Appreciate you coming from I think that's Minnesota. If I'm getting my abbreviations right for the
Oh
state.
yeah,
Um, and man, maybe Montana. No, I don't know.
Nice.
Um,
shout out
and shout out Viv. What
Viv.
up, Viv?
Yeah.
But let's get back to Mr. Wheels because I'm real curious. So you said you weren't always this outgoing. You said um, you kind of learned it in college, in your coaching experience. How did that come about? First off, how did you have the courage to move out of state and go to college for one? Because I did not, I've not even done that. I did move out and go to college, but just a few hundred miles away from my mom and dad, not 1,000 miles like you. And how did you get into coaching? How did that opportunity come about? How did you bring about that opportunity for yourself?
Well, the opportunity became because in middle school, I wanted to try out for the middle school basketball team. And I think the coach kind of didn't think I was serious about it.
Yeah,
And I still showed up to the tryouts. And I don't shoot the ball or nothing, but I am pretty sticky as a defender, which means you're not going to get by me. And I think there was a couple times somebody tried to shoot the ball over me just nonchalant, and I threw my hand up and I blocked the ball. And the coach was kind of like, I can't say no to him. I have to do something with him. So the coach gave me a jersey and he said, "You're my like special assistant coach." And I said, "Cool." And once I got used to that, I got to high school and I wanted to do it there. I did it in high school and I went to junior college at Chaffey and I did it there. And like I said, I tried to do it at Kansas. Is very, very competitive in Kansas to do it there. But yeah, it all started middle school. And I forgot, what was
that's
your second
amazing.
question?
Um, well, it was about how did you? I kind of asked like four questions. I have this bad
Okay,
habit of asking
4.
four questions. Sounds like one question. So you answered how the coaching opportunity came about. I asked how the coaching opportunity came about out in college as well, and also what was that
Oh,
experience
how did
like
I get to
moving
Kansas?
moving
Oh, yeah.
across the country to Kansas, bro?
So I had siblings already over there. They were in technically in Missouri. I don't know if
Okay,
some people know, but Kansas City, the city actually divides two states. It divides Kansas and Missouri. It's right down the middle.
I
And
didn't know that.
the University of Kansas, or Kansas University, is obviously in Kansas. And my brothers lived in Missouri. So I would go visit them on the holidays because they get snow. And my brother said, "Why don't you just come apply to Kansas University? They have a really good basketball team," because I was into basketball. I
Yeah.
said, "I'll try, and I don't think I'm gonna get in. Like I'm not getting into Cal Poly Pomona. I'll try." And I applied, and literally 2 weeks later, I got an email and an envelope sent to my brother's house, and a big old blue envelope said, "Only good news comes in blue." And I said, "Wow!" I opened it up, and it said, "Congratulations, you've been accepted to Kansas University." Kind of looked at my mom and said, "I have to move to Lawrence." So it was kind of like a let's try it out and see what happens kind of thing, and it did.
Yeah.
And I had family over there that helped a lot, and it was a big step. That was kind of just moving there helped me grow as a person because I had to, get my nurse. You kind of know it right now, Tom. You have to get your nurse to show up in the mornings to help you get, what you need done in the mornings, and then it's just you in the afternoons. And people are like, "Aren't you scared?" Of course, I was scared, but you can't show people you're scared. You got to do it. And I just went to class. Luckily, I had my little dog Molly with me, so I'd come to my apartment. I was by myself, and my little dog Molly was in there. I come in there, and then my nurse would show up in the afternoon and help me get my dinner ready and get me ready for bedtime and do it all over again. And that was my life for 3 years, and it really made me grow, gain independence. And it's scary at first, because you're depending on somebody. I've heard you guys talk about it. You guys are depending on somebody to show up in the morning to come take care of you, and you have this thing in the back of your head like, what if they don't? What if there's been a couple times where I was trying to call them and like, where are you? And they didn't answer. And my bad. I get it. They're human. They're humans. I get it. But it's like, but it's something you grow and something you just. I liked it. I learned to love it. And yes, I'm back with my mom. I'm back where I belong. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I miss it. I miss that independence. I miss being by myself, and I want it back. And
Yeah, that's
I'm
all right, dude.
slowly
We
gonna
just
get there.
You just gotta find an affordable 2 bedroom, bro, and we'll be rocking that Live to Roll house slash
Yes,
Mr. Wheels
yeah.
house, dude. It's gonna be popping. It's gonna be wild. Wild stuff's gonna be going on there.
I'm ready.
But I'm with you, man. I think it's cool. I think it's kind of one of those things too where it's trial by fire a little bit. There's only so much you can prepare and there's only so much you can do, and then you just gotta do it. And things are gonna happen. Things are gonna come up. You're gonna be on your own for certain things and have to problem solve and figure it out. It's just like what you said. Um, Organizing and balancing your care is kind of a crazy, tricky, tough thing, and it can be scary at times. But also, like, there's those times too where you gotta freestyle, you gotta improvise and figure shit out because you know people are human and not everyone can show up all the time. And there's going to be times and instances where you got to figure things out, and it does help you grow. It either makes you or breaks you. I think like you either figure out how to do it or you don't, and you end up going back to a situation that you can manage and handle better and works for you. And there is no shade either way in that, like, security and comfort and being in a space and an environment where you feel secure and it can enable you. It should enable you to be functional and independent, whatever that situation is. What I've done, what John has done, it is kind of a different thing. Like I said, I can't really imagine myself going back. But it's something that is constant balance and constant work and kind of a constant learning curve. And scary shit still happens. I freaking fell out of my bed just a couple weeks ago for the first time in a decade. It was like stuck on the floor and had to figure all that shit out. And it's
Yeah,
like
man.
scary stuff happens. Scary stuff can still happen, but it does help you grow. And John, you're an amazing, incredible example of that.
Man,
But
Tom,
yeah,
I
dude.
almost fell. I almost fell today trying to get out of my gaming chair into my wheelchair, and like the gaming chair moved, and just somehow I'm not gonna lie, I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but I am happy that I have been working out for the last month because I literally had to hold myself with one arm, my left arm shaking, and I was like, just concentrate. I concentrated, and I pushed down real hard, and I lifted myself back up into the gaming chair, and I said, if I didn't ever worked out this last month, I would have never been able to do that.
There you
So
go.
Right,
just
That's
baby.
awesome, bro.
Like
it
that is
happens.
awesome. And yeah, no, I'm not planning on falling for another 10 years, so it's all
You gotta
good.
start working out,
Uh,
Tom. You get those
Yeah,
muscles.
because you
I'll
feel
be working
lighter.
out. I've been working out, but that C6 incomplete floor transfer for a quad is still a little out of my reach.
Now
But
I
I'm working
that's
on it,
something
man.
I've never been able to like getting back up. If I go to the floor, I'm down. I need somebody to come like
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like once I was on the floor, I was really like able to like flip myself over and even sit up and get myself into a comfortable position and move myself around, which I wouldn't have been able to do, like many years ago when I was a lot weaker and just didn't have that strength or the ability. So it all does come into play. So talk to us a little bit about that, dude. Um, what what's your workout journey been like?
It's just a lot of pulley cables, just whatever range of motion I can do with my arms, and a lot of cardio, like punching the bag and air punches, just swinging the arms for 3 minutes straight, as hard and as
Yeah,
fast as I can. And I usually trying to step up the amount of rounds I do. I usually did 3 rounds, but yesterday I did 4 rounds just to make it better because I know it's the first round I'm not as tired no more because I'm like, oh, I'm getting better. It's easier now. So once things start to get easier, you got to kind of make your reps go up. But it's just a lot of cardio, just put like boxing stuff. Like I punch the bag a lot. I lift cables, but just arms. And then every now and then I'll get on the floor with my brother and we'll do ab stuff, which is the worst. But you gotta get rid of belly somehow, and it's hard.
work that
gotta
core,
work
man.
on that Buddha.
It
I
sucks.
just, I just wake up every morning. I rub mine for good luck, and I just eat a cheeseburger. I
Yeah.
hope everything works out.
And shout out, thank you everybody in the chat, but thank you Ben for the super sticker, always
Ooh, thank
supporting.
you, Ben,
We do
for the
appreciate you,
super
bro.
chat.
So
Let's give a big shout out to a couple other cool people in the chat
yeah,
too.
Hip
What's up,
Crip
Hip Crip?
also
Love you,
said hey John.
man. What's up, Miss Erica, aka THC Goddess? If you guys didn't read her comment, please like the live, and we really appreciate it.
And earlier in the
So,
chat, what's up? I forgot to shout out Jeff Rennick. He's our Laker ticket supporter, and we much appreciate you, Jeff, as well.
and my
So
mama, shout out
Yeah,
Alice
the
Conway. We love you
Lakers
so much. We
supporter.
yeah,
love
Jeff
all the
is
mamas.
also just a supporter. Hopefully, coming out tomorrow to go bowling with the Ballard support group out here in the IE. If anybody else wants to come, Triumph Foundation support group, we're going bowling tomorrow.
All the ways out in the IE. Ugh. If
A little
only
bit
I could
far for you
teleport.
It's
guys.
not too far. Yeah, it's not too far actually.
Yeah,
Yo,
John, if
Mr.
you want to
Wheels.
come down, man, you and your mom or whoever, bro, come on down. You guys, come hang out.
We love bowling too, though.
So, what's up, Willie? We got Willie in the chat too.
Oh yeah,
Thank
Willie.
you, everybody, for joining. We really appreciate you all stopping by, and hope everyone's good. Sending lots of love on all your directions.
So
Um,
I was gonna ask you. I know Tom, you probably don't have a favorite team or favorite sport to watch, but I still want to get to you. What is your favorite thing to watch? What is your favorite? But John, I am curious. I know college. I know you're Kansas. Like I mean,
Yeah.
but what are some of your other teams that you do like to root for, or like if Kansas is out, you're just out. Like that's it.
No, I mean, I am a basketball coach, and so I had to be realistic, and I knew I wanted Kansas. I mean, I guess we could kind of get down to the March Madness, to the brackets a little bit, kind of helps me talk to what I want to talk about. So, like, they break down, there's a total of 72 teams to start off the whole tournament, and they all get selected by a committee of 12 people, and they basically look at how each team did throughout the whole regular season. And so, like the North Carolina bracket, that's the West bracket. So each team has a 1 through 16. Each bracket has a 1 through 16 rank, and there's four. So there'll be four number ones. And so, like my Kansas Jacks, they got a fourth seed in the Midwest bracket, and they unfortunately lost to Gonzaga. But yeah, it's very tough right now. The first 2 rounds are always the most exciting in March Madness because
Yeah, they
this
are.
is the time that the smaller schools, so to speak, get their opportunity to show that they can compete with the bigger schools. And you're probably like, what does that mean? What are bigger schools like? Aren't they Division 1? Yeah, they're Division 1s, but they play like in different conferences. And a lot of these conferences, like the Big 12, the Pac-10, the ACC, the Big 10, those are all the popular, they call them power ranking conferences. So like in football and basketball, they're known as the Big Five. They're like the Power Five, the big conference. So all those schools that are in there, if you're in that conference, you're like already automatically have a leg up because you're basically playing the top of the top in the nation. That's not to say that if you're playing college basketball like at a small university in a different conference, that's not to say that you're not good. And that's what those first two rounds do. They allow these small universities to win. Like I believe it was in the first round, yeah, in the South bracket, Oakland, who was ranked 14th, they beat Kentucky. And everyone knows
Yeah.
Kentucky. If you say Kentucky, you automatically think basketball. So for Kentucky to
Is
lose
that
to
what they think when they
it,
say Kentucky?
it's a big
Because I
thing.
thought it was fried chicken. I was just
Yeah, right.
kidding.
Yeah, it's
But
no.
no, University of Kentucky is
Tom,
a
yeah,
major basketball program.
yeah,
Like they are definitely one of the top power schools, and yeah, to see them losing that first round, I saw that. I was like, oh wow.
yeah. And they had a guy. Oakland had a guy that just he. I think he set a school record for 10 threes in one game, and he just could not. He just kept shooting threes and after threes and kept making them. You can see the Kentucky players kind of like, oh no, like in these games. If the game is tight at the very end, when it's like a high seed versus a low seed, when it's tight at the very end of the game, that's when it becomes interesting because then you start to see pressure. Like the
Buttholes
other team,
pucker up.
like yes, you see those shorts start to tighten up a little bit in the back
That is
because
the
they're like
apt
they're
description,
not
I
supposed to
guess.
be this
Damn, son.
close with us this is. So, but they did say in the second round, a lot of the teams that were supposed to win did win, and that is the only thing. They have a thing called the Cinderella team, and the Cinderella team is basically the team that's not supposed to be where they're at. They're not even sometimes say they weren't even supposed to be invited to the tournament. And a lot of these teams go like they're smaller schools and they'll go. Like I think the most famous one was the Loyola Chicago. I think it was in 2018, 2019. And they were got famous because they were a small school and they made it to the final four and their fan was a 92-year-old nun.
I remember that. I remember
A
that they were like that.
92-year-old nun, and she's been a fan her whole life, and so they felt like obligated to win for her. And it's just those stories that you get from these small schools. That's cool. You don't hear that in Kentucky. You don't hear that in Kansas. You'll hear that in Loyola Chicago though, and that's the cool part about the Cinderella team this year. If you look at the brackets, really not a lot of these high or low C teams actually did win. So the favorites won. They advanced. The only one that didn't was obviously Kentucky, and in my eyes, Kansas. But if you look at it all, like the only one that sticks out to me that's not supposed to be there, quote unquote, is North Carolina State, and that's because they're an 11th seed. You know, they did beat Oakland, who did beat Kentucky, but they beat Texas Tech in the first round. There's just a lot, and even like in the first round, James Madison beat Wisconsin. That was a big upset.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that's what I love March Madness. That's what Madness is about. That's the reason why they call it March
That's
Madness
what.
because
Yeah.
on the weekend, like last weekend on Saturdays and Sundays, literally anything on your TV, CBS, TBS, TNT, True TV, all day it's just college basketball, literally all day.
Those are
This
my
isn't a
favorite.
paid
Like,
sponsorship, but it should be $1 Dave singles at Wendy's
I
for March
told you, and
Madness.
Tom freaked out when I told him. He said, "No way." I said, "Tom, there's a dollar cheeseburger at Wendy's right now."
I'm on my way, bro. Let's go.
yeah. No, that is cool, and that's honestly one of my favorite. Those two first 2 days of the tournament. That's like my favorite sports days. Like to watch. Like there's so many games. There's upsets happening. You can click from channel to channel to channel. You're like watching all the scores. You're like, oh, that game's getting tight. Switch to that game. Boom. Like
Yep.
it's so fun. Like for years, that's what I've loved to watch. I'd spend like the full days watching
Yep.
basketball a lot of times, just switching back and forth from game to game and trying to catch all the upsets, the buzzer beaters, and cool stuff. So it's fun.
So let
Yeah.
me ask you guys, who are you pulling for in March Madness? Who's your the number one team for Sean Fluke and Mr. Wheels?
Well, I mean, obviously for me it was Kansas, but like I said, we had a tough thing with Gonzaga. Gonzaga's really good, but if I'm looking at all the teams that are remaining in this bracket, you think you still have all four number one teams alive. You still have Houston, Purdue, UConn, and I believe it's Houston.
Yeah.
I can see all four of those teams going to the Final Four. And if you're going to ask me who would win or who would I want to see in the finals, I don't know if they could meet in the finals, but I would love to see Purdue versus UConn because both teams have like a center that's over 7 foot tall and like 235 pounds. They're not these lanky 7 footers that are all skin and bones. No, they finally got
Lanky
7 footers that
seven-footer,
are
is that a real thing? I'm not
They're not lanky no more. They're not like skinny bones where you can push them over by just blowing on them. No, these guys are like tanks now. And so there's a guy on Purdue. His name's Zach Edey. He's like 7'2", 240, 235, and he's actually losing weight to for him to move better on the court. And then same thing with UConn. They have this Ukrainian guy who's like 7'3". He's a little skinny, but he stood next to his coach in an interview the other day, and his coach was talking about the Godzilla and King Kong movie coming out, and I was like, yeah, this guy really looks like freaking Godzilla standing next to his coach. His coach came up to his belly button. Let's just say that. And coaches in the college are not short. The coaches used to be basketball players themselves.
Yeah, that's
That's funny.
crazy.
That's crazy.
Um,
How about you, Shawn?
So for me, I usually will mostly root for like a lot of the what the Pac-12 schools, like the West Coast schools, like UCLA. I was kind of pulling for Oregon, but I know UCLA got knocked out. I think Oregon did too.
Yeah.
And then I actually have a really close family friend. Like my dad's best friend growing up still lives in Kentucky, and he's a major Kentucky fan. So like I've always kind of rooted for Kentucky a little bit. So like I love like Anthony Davis when he came into the NBA and different like some of their players and stuff like from years watching. So I was a little bit bummed when I saw that, but I also was like hyped because like that upset at Oakland, like it was just cool to watch. And I'm not that hardcore of a fan enough to where it like upset me. It was just kind of cool. But like that's one of the ones that I'll root for. And yeah, and I do like sometimes this year I didn't watch a whole lot of college basketball during the season, so I didn't like get a lot of like favorite players and stuff. Like John was just saying, like I actually haven't been that familiar this season, so I've kind of just been checking scores on ESPN here and there, you know. Um, but but yeah, so that's usually who I do root for. And right now, I'm honestly I just kind of love to watch close games with like buzzer beater endings. And to me that's just that's fun to watch, like no matter what the outcome is. So I just don't like blowout type games, you know.
Yeah.
Like if it's a close game and it's good and it's back and forth, they're trading the lead, it's
Yeah.
tied, it's back, it's just, like I love that type of a game. So for me that's just I just love that competition.
Yeah. San Diego State's still in it, so they're
Oh
gonna play
yeah,
you.
San Diego State, that's right, I saw. Yeah, so like that's
Yeah.
I will be pulling for them for sure. And
And they're playing UConn. That's gonna be tough.
that's gonna be
Very,
tough,
very
that's a
tough.
rough
Very
matchup.
tough.
But
That's a wrap. But hey, if anyone could possibly do it, they probably
and
could.
Oregon
Since
State is still in
stage,
too, yeah. So
anything can happen, right? You know, like that's how
Anything can
upsets are
happen.
made. Like you gotta be
Yes.
about
so yeah.
the.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's
yeah, I'm just
cool.
hoping.
I agree with Hip Grip in that like I really appreciate your guys' passion in regards to this, like even not being like a sports player. Like I grew up in a house where like they were all New York Giants fans. At least like my dad and my brother were pretty diehard.
The New York
And
Giants.
I was diehard just to like be a part of the crew.
Like,
Even though it was never really my bag. But I don't know, like it's fun to get into it, especially like if you have other people to get into it too. Like I enjoyed the camaraderie, like the excitement that comes along with just like cheering for, a team you all want to win. So that's fun. And I appreciate it. I think it's pretty cool. Um
And hey, real quick, my buddy Renee in the chat actually has a question. I think for John, pretty much, because he's the best to answer it. Do you think players staying longer makes a difference? So staying
I
in college,
believe.
like leaving early, or what's your opinion on college players?
Honestly, I love it when players stay longer. A perfect example that I've actually got to witness with my own eyes, personally, in front of me, when I attended the Kansas University, my senior year. It was in 2022. Kansas men's basketball won the whole tournament, and one of the standout players was Ochai Agbaji. And Ochai Agbaji spent all 4 years at Kansas. And the reason why I say this is personal because when I was in Kansas going to all my classes, who was in my class most of the time, every single time? Ochai Agbaji.
Oh
Every
wow,
single time. He was in my class every single time. And when I see him, I just say, "What's up?" And I kind of didn't want to be the guy that always talked about basketball with him. So I talked about different stuff like, hey, do you play video games? Do you do this? And he's like, yeah. And he liked it. So I saw him. He wasn't the best player on the team his freshman year. His sophomore, they had to take off what's called a medical. They do a red shirt, which means like you can stay on the team, but the year's not going to count against you, so you can play next year. So you can still get your full 4 years of playing. He was doing that his freshman year. Stuff happened during the season, and they took off his medical red shirt and asked him to play. He played as a freshman. Then he didn't do too bad. You could see the very potential in him. Very athletic, very, very athletic. Couldn't really shoot too well. Then I believe sophomore year did better. Junior year did even way better. And then he actually tested the NBA draft waters, like where they can go to the combine and train to see where they're lined up at, so to speak. And after going there, he saw that he wasn't ready. So he came back his senior year, and that was my senior year. He won a national championship, worked on his game over the summer, and became a first round draft pick. So staying in college benefits them in the long run. I feel like, yes, they want to make lots of money right then and now, but I think the way college is built, the way the new rules are, college players can actually get paid now to
Yeah.
like for endorsements, where back in the day they couldn't. And I think that's actually going to help. People didn't want that, but I think it's going to help influence the college players to stay in the school longer to develop their game.
So
Yeah,
that
no,
was
that's
going to be
cool.
my question that I was going to ask is, what do you guys all think about the commercialization of all these college players and commercializing an academic institution and a part of that academic institution? I mean, I think it's, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I don't know. I don't
I'll
know.
give my quick
But
opinion, and then I do want to hear from John because he's the most like basketball expert for sure. I actually think it's good because they were getting paid under the table anyways. Coaches were making the college makes unbelievable amount of money on there. They sell their jerseys, they sell their
regardless, I'm
likeness
not,
to video games. Though college makes money off their likeness going to video games, their jersey sales, their pictures in the arena, their stuff coming in. So I feel like they should be compensated on some level. I know getting an education is enough. That's what they said for 50 years. Like they're getting an
Mhm,
education. That's what they're
mhm.
getting. But like in reality, I feel like if you're capitalizing on somebody's likeness, their name, their abilities, they should also have the ability to get endorsements and things and not have to be sneaky under the table paid by, backdoor coach like, assistant coach.
Boosters club.
Yeah, like
yeah. So if they're going to be taken advantage of anyways, why not just allow them to get their fair share?
that's my
And so,
personal opinion.
and when
Like
they do leave college or whatever, at least they got a cushion. They already got themselves set up. They have still have the opportunity to play pro and continue their career and stuff. I get it. I get it. Okay, John, your take.
So this is actually going to help us switch over to women's bracket. The other day, I was watching Iowa, who has this player called Caitlin Clark, and she is breaking records, even men's record, like the most points scored, the most 3 pointers made, like in a season. She is a baller. She is in a Gatorade commercial that I saw the other day, and I actually loved it because in the Gatorade commercial, she said, I am still the little girl from Iowa. And the whole commercial was her old footage when she was like 5, 6 years old, playing in her little AAU teams. And then she has playing her little high school, middle school, high school, all the way. And it just, she says, I am still that little girl from Iowa, but I just signed with Gatorade. So if I can sign with Gatorade, so can you. Quench your thirst. I said that is the most coolest commercial ever in the world. And she got paid for it because her name. And she's just boosting up the next generation to come up. And I love that. And like I said, this women's basketball is actually, to me personally, is on an uprise. It's in the last couple of years, I've seen it jump dramatically. Before, people wouldn't really get into it. It was, I mean, not to be sound cruel and to be like, oh, it's just women basketball. Not anymore, because these women, young ladies nowadays, they can ball. They really can.
Yeah, no, there's some
Right.
amazing
My
women
first ever
players.
basketball game was a WNBA game in Sacramento. And it was dope. It was super, super fun. And honestly, I was like, I left. I was like, damn, those ladies are rough. Like they were like really like very physical on the court and stuff. And it was just cool. It was fun. So shout out the ladies. We love ladies here.
Yeah.
And I
So
think
like
that the ladies, even at the pro level, are underpaid. So if some
way
of them
underpaid.
can get some compensation while they're in college and get those endorsements, if you're in a
And
Gatorade commercial, you deserve to be paid for it.
it
That's
was a
Well,
huge
you guys
commercial.
really did just change my opinion on that because I thought it was like kind of weird and a little suspect that they were getting all these brand deals and stuff. But if they're being taken advantage of anyways, and they're still mandated to go to class and maintain their academics along with making some dough and playing sports, and shoot, yeah, baby, that's cool.
and
Yeah, I
that's what
mean,
the school's
yeah,
not
sorry.
paying them. They're able just to get money through endorsements and things. They're not
Yep.
actually getting paid like tuition, like from the college is actually paying a
Yeah.
salary
No,
to
no.
them. So I know
It's a
Ben
whole
said
other
actually in the
endorsement.
chat that it raised money for the average Joe tuition, which I don't know if they did that or not. If they did, I feel like that's like a class action lawsuit because they're not paying the athletes. So why would, yeah, I don't understand what
Well,
how
it,
that would
I mean, I don't know.
um,
I did pay
there's
$60,000 a semester, so
There's no there's no regulatory agency on what academic institutions can charge for tuition. Even state schools have, I think, a really wide authority on what they're allowed to charge, and the fact that these private slash semi-private institution can and do take advantage of people is a whole nother conversation and isn't fair. And there's no reason that John should have had to pay that much and go into that much debt to, fucking go to college. Like that is bullshit, in my opinion.
I
Uh,
ain't gonna pay it back.
well,
Hey,
they
did you,
hell.
a side question,
Well,
did you get your student loans forgiven without during that whole, because they did
I
the
got
huge thing.
one. I got one of them forgiven, and like the big one from like the government. I keep asking them, "Hey, I'm on SSI. Give me the paper that I need to show you that." And they basically they keep ignoring that and just, this is your bill. I'm like, I'm not paying it. I want her forgiveness. Come on, but I just let it be. But yeah, it's going
Well,
to
that's
school,
like
university is
it
crazy.
is a whole other topic, but it is important to note for those who are thinking about going back to school or going back to school currently and stuff. There is a lot of opportunity for financial assistance, especially if you're disabled. And what we're talking about right here is even complete loan forgiveness for taking out like a state or federal student loan. If you have a certain level of disability, like SSI, for a certain number of years, you're eligible for the loan to be forgiven entirely.
If you can prove
And
that,
that's
yeah.
yeah. So something pretty cool. Something pretty cool. Something important to note. Take advantage of because that can be very meaningful for individuals. It's something that I took advantage of and something that John took advantage of. So shout out. Um, because yeah, I didn't pay nothing for my school either. Well, I did at the time, but got that debt cleared, baby. Uh, so, Sean, can you bring up the picture of
I was just
John
gonna
Boy
do that.
Acton College coaching? Can you talk to us about this team? Were they one of the March Madness teams during your tenure? You laugh. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
This is a junior college level, which they call
Okay, well,
JUCO.
that's still cool too.
And unfortunately, this we had a great team in the beginning. As you see, we had lots of players, lots of great coaches, and things happened throughout the season, which we didn't end that way with that many players. I think we had like maybe 7 players at the end.
Oh wow.
But the 7 players that we did have at the end, they balled their heart out, and I that's all I asked my players to do. But this is at the local junior college that Victor. It's in Victorville, but they call it Victor Valley Community College.
Cool. And why did the players, was it academic stuff or they just dropped off the
Yeah,
team?
academics, personal stuff. One of our players actually, he said, "Hey, this firefighter academy is coming up," and I actually got like he was on a wait list, and he didn't think he was
Oh,
even going
so
to get
yeah.
picked. And he's like, "Hey," and we said, we're never gonna interfere with. We have to, as a college coach, you have to remember these are students first. They're student athletes. And a lot of times you have to remind yourself as a coach that they're student athletes. Yes, you have to remind them that they're student athletes, but you also have to remind yourself. So when things like this come up, he was literally one of our best players on the team,
Uh,
but if this is a life opportunity, you can't hold him back. And so we said, go on, man, be a firefighter. You're gonna make a bigger difference in the world by saving a life rather than
yeah,
Oh
playing
yeah.
ball. I mean, so it's things like that, and it's cool to see as a coach, like that there's more than just basketball. There's more than just sports. Sports in general at school is just an opportunity for them to get like their foot in the door, to get that door cracked open for their job that they want in the future. Because being a sports athlete, being an athlete in general, NFL, NBA, tennis, anything, swimmer, the Olympics are coming up. An Olympic athlete, they're one in a billion. They're not out there just every corner. So you have to have that backup plan, and that's kind of like why, like I said, going to college and staying at there all 4 years can benefit you in the long run in your personal life.
yeah. I feel like earning a degree would be very beneficial, no matter even if you are getting drafted to the NBA.
Yep.
Something you never do now. Injuries and things like that can
Yep.
happen. So
Watch Love and Basketball. They show it there in Love and Basketball. The homie pops his knee out and he's
Or you
done.
could be, or you could be like,
And he's
or you could
done.
just be LeBron James and Tom Brady going into your 40s, just still killing the game.
Like
Top athletes in their league. Like,
that's a one in a trillion athlete. That's why they only come one in a generation.
yeah,
nah, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I
No, but
think that's the right mentality. And why not, if you're, at an academic institution being supported to play and stuff, but you also have the opportunity to get a degree, you'd be darn foolish to not better yourself in that regard. Um, you're gonna
yeah.
open up lots of
Well,
opportunities because athletics isn't
before
forever.
before we get going or whatever, I want to, like I said, touch on the women's because they caught my eye, and there are two Southern California teams still in it: USC and UCLA. They both are
Oh,
still in the Sweet 16. The women's team, USC played the Kansas Jayhawks women's team last night, and they won. USC won. There's a lot of standout players, like not just Caitlin Clark I was talking about from Iowa. USC has this player. Her name's Juju Watkins. She's only a freshman. And she's only like 19, 20 years old. I seen her in a commercial the other day. I didn't know it was her until I saw the game, and I was like, "Hey, that was a girl. I was just in a commercial." But same thing. Like it's amazing what they can do, and it's like she's only 19 years old, and her athleticism. I think she's 6 foot, and being 6 foot tall as a girl, that's tall. And then LSU, and so LSU is gonna be playing UCLA next, but LSU is one of those tough teams. They have this girl that they call her the Louisiana Barbie, and I like her because she's different than what I'm used to seeing how women are supposed to appear when they play a game. So usually back in the day, or at least when I seen it in the early 2000s or before, when you saw WNBA, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they weren't the good, best looking girls out there, but it's because they weren't concerned about their looks. But there's a girl on LSU. They call her the Louisiana Barbie because she plays with lashes on. She does her hair. I think she even has nails on, and she balls. She kills it. She literally won the whole national championship last year.
yeah. I remember seeing.
It's amazing. I mean, it's
She
awesome.
she stayed
And
at school. She didn't go. She didn't go to the WNBA last year.
no, she stayed. She stayed.
Oh,
She's there
I
again.
didn't know
There's
that.
some stuff going on supposedly with their like. I mean, they're still in it, but supposedly they're like little ups and downs with the coaches right now, or the coaches having something with the media. I don't know what's going on, but a team that I think the two teams that I think are going to be in a championship for the women, I would like to see South Carolina because they don't just have one player; they're actually a team that's a whole team. There's not one player that's good; their whole team is good. And I think it was forget what game it was. Oh yeah, it was they beat North Carolina, which is also a big basketball school, even in women's. They beat them by nearly 44 points, 47 points. And for them to do that, That's impressive. That's the score that you would do like against like a small school like Fairfield or Florida Gulf Coast. But you don't do that to North Carolina. And there was even rumors they were up 30 and they were still getting upset at the referee for not calling a foul for them. Why would you get upset when you're up 30? That's competitiveness. And I love that. What, you're up 30? Why are you mad? Because they're like, we want to win by 60. And
That's
I
crazy.
mean, so to me in the final, that might be South Carolina, and I would like to see Iowa because I like Caitlin Clark. She's a little baller. She just, I don't know, just something about her. I would like to see those two teams, but I think South Carolina might win it all. And they're tough, 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 tough. If Iowa wins, it's because Caitlin Clark put them on her back and took them there. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see how it ends. I really am. I want to see the big 7-footers battle out in the men's conference. I want to see basically if one a one man show can be a whole team in the women's bracket. That's how I see it.
That's cool. It's like good fun storylines to watch and to yeah, that's awesome, man. I'll have to watch. I haven't watched that much of the women's tournament. I'll have to pull up some highlights and stuff. This
When it starts to get to the Elite Eight, like this upcoming week of Sweet 16 stuff, like let me see the first game. I think it was on. Oh, it's on the 29th. So like in 3 days, the first games will be on, and that's a Sweet 16. That's when they start to get good. They say when you get to the second week of the tournament, that's when things start to get really tight and really good because now the really good teams are here.
yeah, yeah, no, that's
Well, that
awesome.
sounds super cool and exciting. Shout out the ladies. We like to represent everybody here, especially um, unrepresented groups in athletics and different groups. So, yo, go check out the ladies March Madness too. If you guys didn't know, this week we're sponsored by Prize Picks and DraftKings. If you pledge and use the code Roll, they'll double your the money you put in.
Uh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That was a lie. We're gonna clip that and send it to them though, and hope that they give us sponsorship. But let's shout out our sponsors real quick. Our real sponsors, the real ride or dies, mobility professionals and urology professionals. If you are in Southern California, mobility professionals can help you out with your wheelchairs, any similar durable medical equipment, standing frames, and the like. They can help you navigate the insurance, help you figure out what you need, getting the right equipment the first time, get you set up and taken care of with stuff that's going to help you stay independent and stay functional and last a long time. Similarly, their sister company, Urology Professionals, can help you with anything urological supply related, catheters, lubricant, associated urological supplies, you name it, they got it and they can help you get it. And they're a national brand, so anywhere in the US of A, if you find yourself in need of that kind of supplies, give them a call. Check out their website. I think it'd really be to your advantage. They'll really represent you. They're of our community. They can work with your insurance and work with you and help you navigate the difficult healthcare space to get you what you need.
yeah, awesome. We really appreciate our sponsors. Thank you, mobility professionals, urology professionals, and everybody else in the chat that does donate, that just shows up in the chat. We appreciate all you guys. So thank you all for that.
We don't do it for the donos. We do it for your beautiful faces and those beautiful names that show up in the comments. We just
And
love connecting with you guys. So thank you so much for just being here, like Shawn said, and for hopping in the chat, for liking the video, for just watching. It all means the world. So we appreciate it.
and shout out one of our followers. Right, we got to meet one of the Live to Roll family. Roy said his van finally got fixed up. I think.
You said a slam
It's
dunk.
finally a slam dunk, nothing but net.
Let's
And I know
go,
he was
dude.
having some van issues before, but so yeah, just shout out Roy.
Roy, that was the
We're
best
glad,
comment of the day, Roy.
glad to hear it. So yeah, that was a good comment. So I do have a
Yeah.
question for you guys. I know Tom. I feel like I know your answer on this one because you don't watch too much sports. But do
Maybe
you
you never
prefer to
know.
watch, like if you're watching a game, a big game, any game? Do you prefer to just watch at home, comfortable? Do you like to go out to a bar with friends? Do you like, if you can, go to the event? Like if you have money availability, like what would be your preferred choice of watching
I
the
probably
sport?
wouldn't ever be a season ticket holder, but I do enjoy like the going to a stadium and eating a dog or having a beer, and that being in that environment, being around a bunch of fans and everybody cheering and being actually there. I've had some pretty cool, fun experiences at some football games and some baseball games, and even like high school games or like local teams and stuff. Like my brother played a lot of sports, and so it's same with my sister. And I mean, I'd go to a soccer game and we'd just be like the families on the sideline, but it would be hype, like especially if it was a close game, or if like Em or Nick like scored or like did a cool defense or something. Like it was hype and it's fun, and I enjoy that. Nowadays, though, mostly probably just at a bar, like, or if it's like the Super Bowl or something. Like you invite me to a
And
party,
yeah,
tell me there's gonna be snacks and alcohol. Psh, say less. Like I might stay too long, honestly. But that's like the environment. I enjoy like the socializing around it. But yeah, heck yeah, go out to a bar, like sip on some beer and eat some wings with the boys or with the peeps. Let's go, dude. Any day. I'll probably be watching some March Madness with my dad this weekend. He's like super, super into it. I'm gonna be hanging with the fam, so I'll probably get down on some sports at home with him. And
Uh,
I don't know. He's dieting right now. We might do some healthy snacks. Probably no beer though.
oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, and shout out to your dad,
Shout out
Dougie,
Papa
Dougie
Carway.
Fresh.
Mr.
Yeah,
Pistachio.
Dougie Fresh. Pistachio Doug.
um, so
It
yeah,
was so
that's
funny. I was talking to somebody. They brought up Dad, and they were like, they forgot his name, but they're like, it was pistachio something. I'm like, you remember the important part. You remember the important part. Oh, it was so funny.
so yeah, John. What about you, dude? What's your preferred destination for watching anything sports?
I
Anything?
mean, honestly, I got the luxury going to being a college student. I went to UNLV for a little bit too in Vegas, and in
Oh,
Vegas they gave the students free tickets to all the sporting events,
Let's
basketball,
go.
football, everything. They gave you free ticket to it, and so I went and I loved it. Kansas, they kind of it's more like I said the competition level and everything's just more up in Kansas, so they only allowed you to pick a certain amount of games that you can go to. If you didn't want to go to the other one, you had to pay, even as a student. But I would prefer to go there live. One thing that I seen on a comment where I said he loves UFC. That is something that I am dying to go do in person. I've seen UFC all the time on TV. I want to see it live. I need to see it. But I don't think you could go see. Like if I'm going to go to a sporting event, I don't like sitting up in the bleacher, like in the nosebleeds. I hate
yeah.
that. But that's the only place like wheelchairs can really go, and I
You
hate
want the
Unless
those.
you
sweat and the
have
blood
a
to fly on you as they're getting
Like,
beat up.
yeah, like I want the blood and their sweat hitting me when they get hit. I want to be
that's
right against a cage or something. Like, yeah, but that's just me. I would
I
love
think
to be there, but I know it's hard, the sitting situation. So when I know it's going to be a big arena and the sitting situation might not be good, I don't mind
It,
sitting at home watching it on TV and, at the comfort of my spot.
that's what yeah. I think for most of the time I do just enjoy being comfortable watching the
they can
game.
accommodate Donald Trump's fat ass. They could definitely they can get your sexy booty in there, no problem, dude.
My boy
I,
walked in there
you
and
just gotta
crowd went
know
nuts.
people have a lot of money for those tickets down there. So uh
And okay, so dude, I totally missed something. This is probably a huge part of my childhood too. I don't mean to steal it away from you,
your
John. I'll
mom's
send it back to you in just a second. But my whole life, we did go to NASCAR. Like, so shout out
Hey.
motorsports if you consider that actual sports. I feel like at the level that they do it, it's pretty intense and
No,
athletic,
yeah. My
risk
mom got to go
taking.
to that shit too.
But yeah, heck yeah, we went out to
To
NASCAR
Fontana.
and no, in Sonoma Speedway, where the
Oh,
town I
that's
grew up.
right. Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
have like a big racetrack, and we'd also go for the super bikes too, which is like the
Ooh.
international like super bike league. And it was like these guys from all over the world who come and ride on these motorcycles like 200 miles per hour, like crazy, crazy stuff. And that was super fun family gathering we did every year, and we'd go spend the whole weekend out there and be
It's just too
motorheads.
loud sometimes. I can't hear anything after because the engines are so loud.
You know what's funny? I'd always fall asleep at the end of the race. Like it'd be like super loud and people being all like rowdy. I'd be like nodding off like at the end of the race.
uh,
But hey, what can I say?
you just get lulled to sleep by the motor sounds.
I was gonna say, I think like just the hum of it all, like
So
whoa.
body's vibrating.
Exactly, exactly. All right. Let's step away from that. It's getting a little too wild for the literal live over here. Maybe not too wild for the real side though. Never seen the Isle of Man, Roy, but I've seen video of it, and honestly, that shit scares me. Like, I'd love to see it in person, but not like those videos where you see him like sitting like behind a little stone wall, like 2 feet away from a guy coming around a blind corner at 200 miles per hour on a motorcycle. Nah, I'm gonna I'm gonna step a little further back, I think. But let's bring this back to Mr. Wheels because you are definitely the most important part of the show today. So as we wrap it up, I do like to ask this question: if someone's sitting here watching this and be like, "Dang," and I know they are, thinking this. John's such a cool guy. He's got such a charismatic personality, such a cool and positive attitude. Has done a bunch of cool stuff and had a lot of cool opportunities, and will probably continue to have a lot of cool opportunities. How, if they want to be like you, if they want to try to find that confidence, that inner voice, and do cool, crazy things, you got any advice for these individuals?
Just no fear. You just got to
No.
do it. You just have to do it. It's gonna be scary. I get that's what I'm saying. Like everything I do, everything I've done, I was scared. But you have to just okay, here we go. Because then when you do, you're like, oh, like the saying is true. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and you're gonna be stronger. If I could do it, you could do it. Trust me, it's easy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Hmm.
great advice, man. Because that's what a lot of us are afraid to step out of our comfort zone to do things that you are a little nervous about and stuff. So just doing it. That's
And you won't even remember the being scared part because the reward of taking that risk and putting yourself out there is generally so fulfilling and so meaningful that that's the part that you'll remember too. Everybody gets nervous, and some of those nerves are for real, especially when it comes to like big life stuff, like moving out and putting yourself out there in different ways you haven't before. But very much the defining moments and the most rewarding moments of our lives, I think. And I'm gonna take Mr. Briones' advice and have no fear. Or if I
Yeah,
do got a little bit of fear, I'm gonna feel it. I'm gonna embrace it. I'm gonna swallow it back, and I'm gonna take that leap and put myself out there because I think it's super important to do so. So
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Just know, like before I left Kansas, my friends took me ziplining, and never in my life what I thought I would go ziplining. First of all, like how am I gonna get up there? But I had the coolest friends in the world, and they're like, "We're carrying you up there. Don't worry about that part." They got me up there. They clicked me in, and I had butterflies in my stomach. Like I thought I was gonna vomit. And they pushed me, and there's a video of me doing. But as soon as they pushed me, you can see my feet shaking because I was scared. But as soon as I got halfway down, the fear went away. It's all right. It's not too bad. How do I stop? But you know what? We figured it out after. But that's what you need to do. Just if
Gravity
you
did
feel
its thing. Gravity
like
did its thing.
I'm not saying go out there and go jump, clip diving. No, like be smart about your decisions. But like if you have support around you and you're like, all right, the worst thing that can happen is this. I'm not gonna die. Go do it. But if you're like the worst thing that can happen is this, and I could die, think about it again before you do it. Yeah, just I
good.
just want that to be clear. Cause I'm like, he said to do it.
Shout out Roy with the 4.99 super chat real quick. We appreciate you, Roy. Love you so much, man. Thank you for the support, dude. And thank you everybody for the amazing support. Mr. Wheels, one of the people in this world I love the most, man. You're such a beautiful, awesome, inspiring individual. And I feel very fortunate and lucky to have gotten a chance to meet you and become such awesome friends. And we really appreciate you, dude. Appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story, sharing all your awesome advice and experiences. And we look forward to more collabs to come, baby.
Yeah, I'm sorry if my YouTube channel didn't work. I don't think it worked on mine. But if people are watching the Live to Roll one, good job.
Yeah. So, but do make
And
sure I'm going to put his links in the description. Do make sure to follow Jonathan, Mr. Wheels. What Mr. Wheels thinks is the channel.
what Mr. Wheels thinks is the channel. If you type it in, it'll be the first thing that pops up. I guarantee it. And it's really awesome content. So don't just go over there and type it and look it up. Click on the channel, hit subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you're notified when Jonathan posts some new videos. And get excited for all the awesome content to come, baby.
And we'll get
Yeah,
his Twitch in there as well if you guys are really into gaming. And also tomorrow night, gaming with T Fizzle.
yeah,
So check
we're
out.
here.
And I was gonna say
We're
I'm
here.
pretty sure that John is on like pretty often with Tom. So if you
We're gonna get him on tomorrow night, that's for sure. So
Ever
if
since
you do
basketball
want
season ended for me, my basketball season ended, then I've been jumping on. But there was a time I wasn't on because I had
yeah.
practice at 6 at night and I wouldn't get back till 8 and T-Fizz would be done. I'm like, dang it, I missed it. But
but we going all night these days, so it don't even
be
matter.
ready.
We're gonna be ready. We're gonna be gaming. So come and check us out. We appreciate you guys. If you
And
feel so
then
inclined to stop by.
And then also this week on Thursday, we got Bobby, Robert, and Luis coming on for another Rolling Over the Hill. And they're actually talking to our friend Paul in the chat about cold weather, aging in cold weather, because Paul is Canadian and it's freezing up there. Oh, wow, your mom. Oh my gosh,
Uh,
that's a big
Mama.
one. Alice, thank you. Mrs. Conway.
Hippo
We
character wearing
appreciate your mom's
sunglasses comes
time.
out with mature cats and coins around him. We love you so much, Mama. Shout out
Mama.
Alice Conway with the 49.99 super chat. Appreciate all of your support and all of your love in my life personally, but also all the
Me too.
love
Me
and
too.
appreciation you show for Live to Roll. We appreciate you, Mama, and love you so
And if you
much.
accidentally hit that extra 9, I'm sorry, Alex.
I'm sure Mama's pretty tech savvy these days. I'm sure she
I'm not
said what
just
she intended.
kidding.
And we'll have to hook Mama up with some new literal merch for sure though.
But yeah, for sure, we do appreciate you. So thank you very much. Thank you everybody that's been in the chat, that's donated, that's just chatting, that's just watching. We appreciate all you guys. We do appreciate the support very, very much. So thank you guys for supporting us here at Live to Roll. We're trying to keep
Shimmy.
everything nice and free, no paywalls. So just make sure to like and subscribe. So that helps us out. That's what we appreciate. So,
That's it, baby.
um,
So check out our shows tomorrow. Check out our shows Thursday. Check out
and
our shows next week.
a full
Uh,
slate of shows next week as well. So make sure to check it out. We actually are going to be posting on the Instagram a whole little banner of shows. So I'm trying to keep that up. So if you aren't following us on Instagram, make sure to follow the Live Till Instagram as well. I am trying to keep updated for all the shows, trying to share everything before they go live, even the gaming and stuff. So we will try to keep you up to date on everything there. But we do
Boom.
appreciate everybody watching. And like we said before, please just like, subscribe, click that little bell for notifications. You know when we're coming. Monday through Thursday, we got live streams every week. So just make sure to follow and check us out. Live to roll, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.
Live to roll, everybody.